So, welcome. For those watching this at home, this is a little special little segment we're doing. Since Chaston, who's here, plays the character of Kurgan, and to give him a direct opportunity to make decisions according to the character in a way that only he'll understand, we wanted to do a little side shot where he won't be doing any combat or anything like that, so you won't have to worry, not yet at least. But this will be a little bit of a side story before today's session of the Peaceful Future. So if you're watching this on YouTube, watch this first, and then watch the newest episode of Peaceful Future afterwards. Okay, so Kurgan. As the weeks have been going by, many things have been happening in the world. You've been keeping up to tact with by using not only Xarius' connections, but you're also your own soldiers and scouts out and about in the world. Still sworn as a vassal to the Silversong Empire, although given full rights to print your own coins, run your own economy, only the requirement that if the Silversongs march to war, you are required to show in strength to join them. Very simple contract, which was very much agreeable to a man who did not want to be king.
Yeah.
Xarius outright refused to be king, and when you were crowned as the fourth ruler of Dragon's Gate to date. Having ascended the throne after Tenem as his official successor, and given the title of King of Clan Xarius. Unwillingly, but unfortunately, it was handed to you. Upon this, you learned that the rest of the clan was gathering and was coming to Dragon's Gate after not only information that one of the heads had been captured by the newly elected pope amongst the recognized religions, but on top of the fact that the discussion of succession still was one that needed to be brought together. Now, Xarius, of course, would, like he is known to do, suddenly disappear completely to avoid being involved in any of this, as the last thing you remember hearing from Xarius was that he would be heading into town to do some business, as well as you had heard rumors that supposedly he had started seeking out a wife recently. Finally deciding to settle down, which was almost unheard of from Tenem and Xarius themselves. Neither had ever spoke of interest of having children. So Xarius, being the conniving, cunning man he is, vanished without a trace, and while sending out guards, you were not able to seem to locate him whatsoever. The clans had been summoned. The round table that was in Dragon's Gate back when the ancient red dragon that controlled it was prepped and prepared to avoid any unnecessary irritation amongst the other portions of the clan leaders of getting pissed that you sat at the head of the table. Given you, as Kurgan, are actually one of the youngest members of the clan.
It doesn't mean I want to be here.
Nope, and not having your right hand sucks.
But I did want to ask.
Yes.
Since Xarius ran off.
Mm-hmm.
Most people in power have a right hand of some kind.
Yeah, which is Xarius.
Yeah, but who's Xarius' right hand?
No one knows. Everyone who knows Xarius knows that he just runs things himself.
Do I know anyone that kinda does the job with him, even if it's not really? I need somebody here to represent him.
No, not in the slightest.
God.
However,
Okay.
you have been recently informed that a new creation has fully gone to construction by your Artificers Guild that you sponsored early on in your kingship. Given it's been, for those wondering in the timeline, it's been about, I believe, 3 years Kurgan has been king now. So it's not been a long time, but he's ruled longer than the last two rulers.
And second question.
Yes.
Is this... Would I have already gotten the letter from Tikva?
Yes.
The response. So I know somebody is most likely trying to kill me.
Yes. So, yeah, yes, you would. You would also know that your Artificer Guild has officially come up with a new design, a war machine they have developed for the kingdom in Focus of Peace called the Barbarian Bomber. Or the BB for short.
Okay. Also, 100% rune trap around every other seat at the council hidden
That's good to know. Okay.
for emergency situations. I don't trust these people.
No, and that's smart. Kurgan would know that the Xarius clan has had many coups in the family, and everyone showing up has, in fact, at one time tried to kill Tenem.
Exactly. I don't trust any of these four. The
Yeah.
only one I trust is Xarius, and he ran off.
Yes, Xarius is gone. So, as you kind of await, you hear the announcement that they have arrived in the city. All four of the other heads, including Fisk, who has arrived. So as the group coming with their giant parades of men and women, or men and women serving under them, Fisk, as we know, is the half dwarf, or known as a dwarfborn, stronger built, but a magic caster who studies the arts of magic. He is in charge of the magic, the scholarship, or scholars in the clan. He is the most magically gifted of the family. He also is currently the leader of the Champions of Pyrrhus, as you would just have been informed of literally a day ago.
Wonderful. The one I trust the least.
Yes. Also, the one who was captured originally by Malthor in an attempt to kill him.
Yeah, who, as far as I know, is with the old High King, who really doesn't like me.
Magthrin is your next mate. He is the leader of the military force of the clan. He is the strongest warrior amongst the clan outside of yourself. He is officially the only person to ever beat Tenem in one-on-one combat without any tricks. Supposedly. However, the problem was that Tenem did end up outsmarting him in the end. But when it comes to physicality, Magthorn is a mountain dwarf. He is known to be a blood hunter, and he enjoys hunting other sentient races for fun. Really sadistic man, many believe or have stated.
He's not the worst Kurgan would have met.
Belram is the ranger. He is also in charge of the slave trade amongst the guild or amongst the family. He is basically the main merchandiser outside of Xarius. Xarius being the banker, Belram deals in goods. He is very good at not only catching animals and beasts of all types. He is known to be a dragon rider, as well as a slaver. He actually leads the main portion of the slaving guilds in the Goblin territories who are under his thumb. And then there is Karzis, sorry. Who is the artificer and alchemist. He is the inventor and typically the man who leads when it comes to the invention and creation of items. He is also politically the most accomplished. He has managed to broker alliances and set up most of the Xarius clan to where it is today by getting the members into the door. Now, while Xarius himself is typically the man who pays off and takes care of a lot of the individual paperwork, Karzarius is the man who typically is able to negotiate and get in to meet with these people. There is not a leader in the world that does not know this man, either personally or has heard of him and is terrified of his abilities. It is rumored that he could summon up an alliance of almost every nation if you offend him within moments. So he is a man who's well connected and well contracted. And both those last two I mentioned, one being a gray dwarf, Karzarius is actually a high half-elf, and he is related to the current king of the high elves, which is one of the reasons why they've stuck with Kurgan and vassalized under him, technically as an extension, even though they're considered a vassal of the Silver Song Empire.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as they arrive, each with their own banners, Xarius still nowhere to be found. You go to await in the room. Your wife is nowhere to be seen right now. Last you heard, she was working at her inn. She didn't want to be involved with what was going on more because she felt she'd get in the way. And just let you know you could summon her at any time if you needed her assistance. Plus, her general aura is pretty threatening to most people that can sense her magic, which most of these, all four of the other heads, all can sense magic quite well.
I don't know, man. Her intimidating would help a lot here, but I'll call her later.
Yeah. So as they arrive, each one by one, greeting you in turn, taking their seat, Xarius finally does show up. as the last one to arrive, about half an hour late to the meeting, as the rest of the members seem to kind of be irritated as they kind of sit and eat and wait for Xarius to also arrive. Um, he does show up, and he seems to be smiling, almost glowing at the currently, which is pretty unusual for Xarius himself. As you take your seat kind of at the closest to the back wall, also having noticed that there's one seat to your right that has been left empty, the assumption is that this is probably someone else that you don't know of, or this is what they recognize as Tenham's seat. As Tenham is still accepted amongst the clan. While you don't personally care for him, and you have outlawed him from ever entering your city, he is still a welcomed member amongst the family. And as they each sit and everyone gathers, immediately Fisk looks over at Kurgan. And I mean, he's a half dwarf, so he's definitely not like you. But he isn't a gray dwarf like the main family. He isn't well accepted and isn't well loved by much of the clan. With his gray hair, purpled skin, and bright green eyes.
Wait, am I the only clan leader that's put it out there that I don't discriminate?
Yeah.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah. So as you're kind of sitting there, he looks over at you and goes, "Well, I can announce that it's officially that that family or that servants under Normac are outright enemies of the clan Xarius, and we weren't able to accomplish our deeds." As he looks at Kurgan and goes, "But we'll have our vengeance on him soon."
I don't know about that.
And Fisk tilts his head and goes, "What, you don't agree with Tenham's plan to take out Normac's followers and kill the smith?"
Kind of indifferent on that one, but I've heard some odd rumors about you, specifically.
Fisk kind of looks at you and goes, "Yeah? Well, what's that?"
Well, first of all, minor issue. Maybe don't go on an assassination attempt without informing anyone else. Never really goes well.
He kind of starts to glare at you.
Could have assisted if you'd said something. Then you ran off. Second, I have a meeting with him first. That's going to be moderated, and we'll at least hear what he has to say. And I'll make my stance by then.
He looks at you and goes, "So you're willing to join with the traitors, I take it? Is that what the Xarius clan has come to?"
No, but he saved my life once. I can at least hear him out.
And next you're going to say that Tenham was an outright evil human being and was in the wrong the entire time.
Yeah, well, we never got along.
To be fair, no one knew who you were until recently, so I think that's expected. You're nothing but a pleb amongst the clans. In fact, you're not much special compared to the rest of them. At least our cousin Bardris is out there trying to head through hell and claim a title of his own. You come in here, get lucky with a bit of boxing, barely manage to beat him with our leader with a dirty trick, and crown yourself king. And the only reason you're sitting there is because of Xarius himself, who doesn't want the title, who should be king. Why should we even talk to you? Why should we even care who you are? As Fisk kind of stands up, slamming his hands into the table.
Because better me than a weak, petty man like you.
He gets you see him going for his staff at his back and goes, "Really?
Oh, please do. Please do. Come on."
And as that's mentioned, you hear as the door slams open. Now, this place was ordered to be completely shut down and guards were posted. As you see an old dwarf come walking in, back bent, walking on what looks to be an iron stick. And in comes your favorite person in the world, Ogum himself. Walking in with Crutchty, and he goes, "Alright, no, none of the fighting," as he waves his stick and almost falls over. And he goes, "None of that, you damn idiots. All you children who come from my loins aren't worth my time or the salt on my boots. You," as he points to Kurgan, goes, "you're king now, Enjoy it, and make sure to put these kids in their place next time. And then he stops. Doesn't even give you a chance to respond as he looks over at Fisk and goes, and you're weaker than most of the members here. You're here because you're smart. And last I checked, the Xarius clan doesn't really pride themselves in our brains. So I'd shut up before we replace you with another magic caster. And he kind of sits down in Tenum's seat, and everyone kind of looks at him and glares. And he goes, and if you thought you can take me, I got a stick here that'll fit right nicely. He looks at Kurgan and goes, all right, since you started without me, I'm going to make this clear. That man, the half-dwarf, the idiot there, was acting on my orders. Now, if you'll allow me to explain myself and apologize for not including you, I figured you wouldn't want to be involved in actions against someone that you associated with yourself with. And he kind of pops his back very loudly, and suddenly he's kind of standing up straight in his chair, or sitting up straight in his chair, and the muscles really start to show on this old Smith. And he goes, well, two things. Grandfather did try to kill you. Apologies for that, Kurgan. He didn't recognize you. And he was a little shocked when you took the throne of Tenum, when Tenum was set there on purpose. So I apologize for the old High King's actions against you. A man shouldn't have done anything like that. But you know how he is. Not exactly the kindest or smartest individual. He did work his way up from hell, after all. And Tenum's buried deep in the dirt, and he's one of his devils serving down in the hells. Which, to be honest, we can forget about him. He ain't coming back anytime soon. Now, since you ain't one of the main members of the clan, let me explain a little bit to you that apparently, as he looks over at Xarius, who shrinks down in his chair, almost immediately cowering, and he goes, something that wasn't explained to you by your good right hand there. Also, the fact that he's trying to fuck a boar is something we will discuss later. Anyways, as he takes a second, he goes, we are not able to be damaged by the High King. You know of this, correct?
I'm aware.
Good. It doesn't mean I can't smack you. So if you actually do touch one of these other members, I will smack you. I'm making that also very clear. You think Tenum was difficult? Wait till I whip out my stick. As he kind of eyes the iron stick sitting next to him. Anyways, so what the Tenum didn't tell you is our clan is not. It's not necessarily the High King can't hurt us. He can. In fact, he can kill us outright. Every member of this clan is owed an allegiance to that man by a blood oath we swore upon our crowning. He looks at you for a second and goes, and by the way, my name's not Ogum. My name is Alf Stone. Clan Xarius is based on the family's name in Elvish. Well, Old Elvish. They don't speak it very well anymore. But as far as it goes, we've always been at war with the other two dwarven houses that tried to claim our title under Grom. And unfortunately, those idiots did manage to boot us out. Those Helm Shapers and the other stones, the actual stones and what they claimed themselves to be, and those who were sitting on the throne before Trinitas took it. Now, with that out of the way, we do owe a blood oath to that man, because we are related to him. We're related to him through his second... He counts for a second. Yeah, second son, Grom. And, unfortunately, that means we're sworn to him. You can't deny it, I can't deny it. If he decides to give us an order, you'll be forced to act on it. But he hasn't. Mostly because he's trying to gain his power back down south in the domain of Moors. Once he does, well, we're all fucked anyway, so at that point. But we've come up with a way of breaking that chain. There's two issues with it, though. One, we've had to get ourselves in a specific position, and two, we need something. And since you are now king, I'm gonna put this on the table. You're gonna either join us, or you're gonna die here. Now, I'm not gonna harm you. No one else in this family could probably take you down in single combat, to be honest. It's not worth our time. We know the power at your back. But that doesn't mean I can't break what you have. behind you as he sets down a pink vial in the shape of a leaf. And he goes, "This will end you right here, right now. This is your sugar mama's vial, her phylactery, if you will. Now, I've spent a lot of money finding this thing, and a lot of time. I got Fisk there in the position of taking the title of the Champions of Pyrus, just so that way we could rule over that and find the information. Turns out those idiots don't know any more than we do. And I sent him to deal with Malthor, because I thought that idiot might know something. Turns out, deep in the vaults was where your sugar mama there was keeping her phylactery, right under the old High King's nose. Smart woman. And now she bends to my will, otherwise I shatter this thing, and she goes bye-bye. And so do you. Now, we've put ourselves in charge. We have the Slavers' Guilds. We have the champions themselves. We now hold the banking of the entirety of the world. And we hold the Elven Kingdom as well as Dragon's Gate. Our job is simple. Now, we eliminate Tautler. Make sure he doesn't come back, because a man like that should never have ruled. Re-enslave those scaly bastards. And we get rid of these silver songs who have been kind of a crutch in our problems. The gods are going to be human soon. We'll deal with Xarius himself when he lands. Malthor will be dead within the week, thanks to our friend Fisk there, who managed to poison all the water wells in the entirety of the Pope's Cathedral. A little concoction of my own. A little bit of Lich's blood just to give him a real taste of what it could be like. And the only other problem we have at that point is Logelfist himself, who has already decided to make it very easy to go after him, because as he's marching an undead army around, everyone's scared of him. Trinitus will be eliminated here soon. Your cousin there, as he points to Magtherin, will be taking his place on that throne. The old High Queen's court will be replaced by Belram, and the Grey Dwarves will fall under our control once again, along with the Drow, who will be enslaved afterwards. Xarius will be sent to the Dragonborn lands to reestate the lands themselves under his rule, with the full enslavement of the race and species, with the lizard folk considered as second class to have them assist us. And lastly, the New World will be completely destroyed when the gods arrive. We have a few friends up above, if you will. So now you have a choice, young Kurgan. You can either join us and declare war on the Silver Song Empire. You'll have the full backing. Or that dragon we sent down south to the Tabaxi lands to make sure that Dibus Jr. didn't get in our way will be sent here next, and you'll be eliminated along with your wife and any possibility of an existence after this. And Ogum just looks at you as he sits back in his chair.
Kurgan kind of nods, kind of scratches at a beard, just goes, man, more psychotic than I thought, but even I know when I'm backed into a corner.
Ogum looks at you and says, before you try it, I've already gotten it ready. And he smiles as you feel your runes dissipate.
You know, wasn't thinking about the runes, but, you know, if that's what you felt like doing, sure. Wasn't really what I was leading up to, but, you know, you do you, I guess. Those were completely not for you guys. Those were for later for my own protection, but okay. After some preparation is done, I'll get ready for the war.
Ogum looks at you and goes, no need, and he slides over a piece of paper. Just sign your name.
What else is on the paper?
As you read it, looking it over, it outright is it's a legitimate declaration of war. And as far as upon signature, it is an immediate declaration of independence, and it does state in there that it changes the name of Dragon's Gate, or the Dragon's Gate Kingdom, to the Xarius Clan Xarius Kingdom.
You want to start a war right now while we're surrounded on all fronts?
Toutler will be dead within the week. We've already seen to that. You didn't die to my little assassin, so obviously you're tougher and smarter than we expected, so you're probably realizing that the Tabaxi can't help you. The Snow Elves are under Dim Flame, and to be honest, we've already made a deal with him. Silversong won't play, we know that. She was never the type to do so. And the Elves are already at our back, with the fact that Trinitus will be dead within the week. What else is there to plan?
How exactly are you planning on killing Toutler?
He smiles and says, "You know the man that almost killed you?"
I mean, sure, but Toutler's been shown to not die.
You're right. That pesky forgotten god was a bit difficult. It's unfortunate when your god is in physical form and stuck under a mountain under your castle. And all it takes is a nice little poke to the brain. And, well, let's just say poison will do its work. Because it's not actually a god, so to speak, that backs him. More like an entity of sorts. Much weaker, much easier to kill.
I mean, I'll sign it. Ain't got much better choice.
Good. And you'll be assuming the throne of the clan. You'll be leading it. I'll be your left hand. Xarius will stay as your right. The fireworks will be launched within the hour to announce the new creation of the Empire of Xarius. Tenem will be reinstated as one of the heads of the family. And lastly, Bardris, will be officially acknowledged as excommunicated from this family, with a bounty of over 10 billion gold pieces on his head.
You know, I get the bounty, but I'm pretty sure he excommunicated himself like a long time ago.
Also, those who follow Urist will be recognized as enemies of our clan, and exiled and executed immediately. And anybody else who gets in our way. The Dragon Forge will be open to you, he looks at Kurgan, and we will give you the armor you need. You will lead this war. And you will lead the battlefield against House Silversong. And don't worry about Gaul and his godhood. That won't be around much longer.
Kurgan's gonna look at Xarius. I blame you for this, pushing the throne on me.
Xarius looks at you and goes, "Mate, I didn't want it either. I knew about this."
You could have pushed it on anyone else. I didn't want this.
Ogum smiles and says, "We needed an idiot on the throne. Tenem would have been better. At least he was a good fighter, and he even took on Zopip in one-on-one combat and almost won. Would have won if it hadn't been for that damn little shelter he put up. We killed his wife, though, at least. And you already have his sons under you, so if we ever need Zopip, we can definitely bring him in. Also," he looks at you, "last thing." And as he kind of whistles, and you see a couple of guards walk in with a simple gold tray and what looks to be a little wine glass. It looks like almost a blood red color and liquid, and it's set down in front of you, and Ogum looks at you and goes, "Drink this."
No, I don't drink alcohol, thanks.
Either you drink it, and he grabs the vial and starts to crack it slightly, or you die now.
What is it?
You know what? You can either give me a medicine check or an investigation check, and for that...
Wait, let me check what Kurgan's better at.
I've got Kurgan's thing right now. So...
No, I'm not good at either of those.
An investigation for you would be... Give me a minute to find the proper thing, because it should be a +5. Yeah, you'd have a +5 to investigation. You would also, for medicine, have also a +5.
I'll try medicine.
Okay. Just let me know what you get.
Oh, I don't have the D&D Beyond up. I have the fucking separate sheet up on the thing.
Ah, that works. I mean, you could just do a D20 roll anywhere and just, +5, and then add 5 to it.
Alright, what was the command for the in server?
!R space 1d20 +5. Okay.
19.
This is, as you look it over, and this is what, medicine you said? Or investigation?
Yeah.
Medicine. This is a potion that reverses, death, or, undeath.
You want to take away my greatest weapon in the war right now.
Oakham looks at you and says, yes, because you're tied to that woman and she is an enemy of ours. She is sworn to the Phoenix.
But you couldn't do it after so that I'm immortal during the war and don't have to worry about it?
If you want immortality, you're not half the man Tenem was. Are you saying you're that weak?
I'm saying that they're strong magic casters, and I'm not as good at fighting magic casters as I am warriors.
Yeah? And that's why you have the family to support you. We've got magic casters. We've got knowledgeable people. We've got people who specialize in killing mages.
Fine.
Drink this, make the order that you want House Silversong eliminated. We'll have them dead within the week. You won't even have to join the battlefield.
I'll drink the potion.
As you do, you suddenly feel your entire body begins to warm, and you can actually feel things again. Your fingers, your sense of touch comes back. You also notice your back's a little stiff. Your muscles are a little sore from not having worked.
It's like, man, that feels weird. Alright.
And Ogum smiles and immediately you see him shatter the glass, and the fireworks start launching off, and a loud boom is heard. And Ogum goes, good. With that, he takes the signed document, rolls it up, puts a seal to it. We march within the week. You'll be prepared for battle. The golems are on our side. I've already retrofitted them. Toutler should be taken care of. The invading dimensions a few of them have already made deals with us in exchange. We have the muskets and cannons that the Dragonkin have offered in exchange for a peace of mind. He looks at you and he says, we'll convene in another month. And he smiles. And he goes, and that's the end for the rest of you lot. Get back to your positions. You know where you need to be. And you see them all kind of get grumpily as they didn't really get to talk much as they're sent out. And Ogum looks at you and goes, and don't worry, you're going to get to see my pretty face a lot more often. And suddenly you see as he suddenly turns almost to a younger version of you. His beard is even longer, although he's gray of skin, bright purple eyes. He looks like a proper Durgar, and he looks probably about to be in his early 20s now.
Why didn't you take this form from the start?
He smiles and says, because I was bound just like you to that woman, and I needed someone to break the crux. Thanks for drinking that potion. And if you want to save your cousin Bardris, I recommend sending an envoy to, Mors. Try and get in touch with him and explain to him that he shouldn't kill my grandfather.
Does Kurgan know why?
No.
He's trying to kill... No. I've never known the kid. Not much I can do. Sure, he has a reason. And I'm sure he won't succeed anyway.
True. Tenem has already been told to kill him on the spot, and Meskis owed me a favor. As he smiles and goes, we move in the morning. Also, and he looks over at Xarius and says, don't fuck the pig. And Xarius just goes bright red and walks out.
Fuck who you want, as he leaves.
And Ogum looks at you and goes, we have much to discuss. Let's head to the war room.
I'm sure we do.
And that is where we're going to end the episode.